they've learnt against some other Tier 1 opposition.
You think it's redemption time? Is that the arc here?
Well, look,
add it to the storyline of yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, you have to remember, I think you have to go back to 2018 since the last time they won against Astralis in a best of 3. That has been a team that has just owned them completely. Even Team Liquid in the meantime beat them. A lot of teams beat Astralis actually. Na'Vi never did, so that's a pretty good confidence builder to make you feel like it is a different era, we're a different squad, maybe we've got a new look, we've got an extra gear to our game, so similarly, you go into an opponent that's beaten you again and again and again, every single time. They're always picking the right map against you. You believe it's possible. If you have a player like Simple who can go off like that, you think it's possible when you're playing with him. Anything can happen.
Exactly. Anything can happen, and it's now time to get underway, at least with getting the players to the stage. And so we will now hand it over to James Banks to do just that.
London, are you ready? That's what I like to hear from my hometown. That's how I want to see this continue throughout this great game. So let's not waste any time, but let's bring on our first team. It's Na'Vi! Na'Vi, they may have fallen to Vitality already, but it's time for them to shine. Simple was rolling back the years earlier on in that game against Astralis, the #1 team in the world, who certainly didn't deliver the #1 team in the world performance. Now Na'Vi, with their backs up against the wall, need to do the damage against the French side. Now Vitality, they've managed to hold strong, but it was not looking good against Complexity. So let's see what they can do this time around. Bring on Vitality! The French side, they may have struggled on all performances. Even Zyru, the #1 player in the world at the moment, wasn't able to put up the performance that we expected. So it's time to see what they can do this time around and how much they are able to add to their arsenal going into this match. Alex, Simple. So this is 2 interesting characters I got here. Alex, how you feeling? Okay. Doesn't often happen, you know. Simple, you should be ready for this, right? It should be a game for rematch. You've played already, lots of information. All right, they're just playing me now. So this is the intense matchup I did want to see. So let's just let them shake hands. We're gonna do that, lads? All right, they can be nice. Happy days, we can get on with it. Let's see how this game is gonna go. It's gonna be some straight fire.
Well, I mean, all right, Chad, we were looking at something there during the break real quick.
Yeah.
In terms of statistics, I mean, Simple doesn't really have anything to prove here. He eats Vitality.
Well, that was actually Astralis ones I was quickly ticking back through, right, just to build on what we were talking about with the Astralis game from yesterday. Simple, when he's gone up against Astralis in a lot of their last games, has shown up, right? He's still getting Simple-like stats, but never able to get across the line. So yesterday, for him to be able to finally break through, I'm sure that's going to give him a lot more belief in his teammates as well, because normally they're the people letting him down, not getting across the line. But that there, no one saying anything to James, just stone cold.
That's interesting.
At least they're focused, you know.
I mean, that's a different take.
No silly banter this time, just nice and quiet, keeping it stone cold.
I don't think these two teams actually like or respect each other.
Really?
I think they just don't appreciate each other's style of play. They're such different squads. If you look at them, they have nothing in common stylistically. Anyway, we'll see on this one. Like, the big problem at this point in time is, if you're the guys from Na'Vi, it's where your pick's going to be that I'm concerned.
It's probably the same veto as last time around, right? Because Vertigo has to go, and then right now, if you're Vitality,
You have to
why
go
would
Dust 2 again, probably,
Right,
if you're the Na'Vi guys.
yeah,
right?
because you can't take Train, right? That's the permaban. Train's clearly a map that this Na'Vi team wants to be playing. Dust 2 is a game where, look, if the individual stepped up like we were prefacing on day one, then it can be more of an interesting match than what we actually saw.
If they want to get ballsy, Overpass would have been the pick, I think, but we'll see. I don't think, unfortunately, we're going to say. I think they will just go straight to
Same
Dust 2.
veto.
They basically do it on, like even Zonic yesterday said he thought they would pick that against them, and he was actually surprised they went with the Train pick. Ended up not getting a win anyway, so they're taking a long time here, I noticed, but you still expect it to be Dust 2.
It's the same order of maps as well as what we saw.
Luckily, if you are the guys from Na'Vi, you just won an epic game against one of the best Inferno teams ever, while your opponent got absolutely dunked on by a bunch of North Americans with Europeans involved.
That's true. That Inferno game yesterday with Vitality against Complexity, there was only 5 rounds won from Vitality. I'm going to list you those rounds. They won both pistol rounds. There's 2. They won 2 1v3s. There's your 4. And the other one was a scrappy low buy onto the A bomb site. So they didn't win any convincing gun rounds. So that's something right there to take out of this. But
Vitality's loving this veto right now.
Well, that's around the other way. That's around the other way. Because last time round, Na'Vi actually were the ones to ban out Overpass. This time, you've seen Vitality take it out. So it's going to be the exact same veto as we saw last time. Just for everybody to remember, it was a 16 16-12 victories of Vitality on Inferno, and then a 16-9 to Na'Vi on Dust 2. And we were just talking about RPK before. If you take a quick look at his stats in this tournament, he's been in 4 1vx situations, 1 1v1, 1 1v2, and 2 1v3s. He's won all of them. He hasn't lost a single 1vx situation he's been in. So if you're looking for a player who might get down to the nitty-gritty, a difference maker, maybe it'll be RPK. Oh, or these two.
Or these two, exactly.
These are probably the real two, right? Look, this is last year. If you haven't heard us talking about it, ZywOo, the #1 player in the world.
That
Simple
ratio is
2.
absurd, by the way. That is absolutely mental. Bear in mind, he played 5 maps and he has that ratio. Like, that is bonkers.
I think that the thing is, we were sitting there on the first day and we were like, oh yeah, you know, they're just quiet achievers, they're just chugging along. That's the two that we expect to be putting up really big numbers, right? So compared to their level, well, now we're seeing it, right? Now this is what we want. Like, we're obviously never going to get a head-to-head duel between like Simple and ZywOo, but if we can just see them tearing each other apart round for round, that's kind of what we're looking for, right? To see ZywOo have a huge round and Simple do the next, and these clutches that we were seeing come out yesterday against Astralis, this was Counter-Strike where Simple was fired up. You know, he was playing like he had something to prove. And I'm sure if you were #1 in 2018, you lose out to a rookie in his rookie year, and you're going to want to prove it again, right? And look, we've mentioned it. He's back on the main AWP, and it's working for him. I was one of the players who thought that it'd be better to have Simple as a hybrid player. But if he's playing like this as the main AWPer, just leave it. Just let it be.
Well, these are two individuals who have to actually step up as the second round behind the ZywOos and the Simples. I mean, as far as Na'Vi are concerned, so far against Astralis, this is exactly how it played out, as you outlined earlier. It was Simple at the top of the pack, and Electronic was right there behind him. As far as Vitality is concerned, though, can we expect to see Shoxy right up there behind ZywOo?
It's much less likely that the matchup of the second stars, as it were, will go that way. I mean, for a start off, one of the things that looks so weird there is the kill-to-death ratio is terrible for Electronic. The ADR is like 80 ADR average, so one of the things that's been underwhelming about him when he's at his off tournaments is he just dies way more than you'd expect for a star player. Whereas actually, that's the thing that makes Simple's kill-to-death ratio mental. He gets all the kills and he dies like half the time. So Shoxy certainly also, like RPK, has had some clutch rounds at this tournament. I think that in itself, without the fragging elsewhere, does bring another dynamic to the team. It can't just be ZywOo doing it all. Like, there has to be someone contributing in a different part of the game. So if you have a couple of veterans who can win you some rounds like that, you can just get rounds that aren't... CS isn't just about fragging in the most uniform sense. It's about when you get the frags.
Yeah.
And so those are frags that are worth way more than just 2 kills at the beginning of a round when you die, unfortunately.
Just to note, if you look at the stats just from this tournament so far, Simple is well and truly above the rest of his teammates, at least in the KD difference, pointing out exactly what Duncan's point is. When I was tallying up the rounds yesterday that Na'Vi were winning against Astralis, especially on that T-side of Inferno, Simple had like 13 kills in the 6 T-side rounds that they won, so he's averaging 2 kills per round. But we got the odds from Betway here, and wow, straight down the middle. Couldn't be any more even than that, could it? I think this one here, on paper, like I said, you should lean towards Vitality based off of how much time they've had together as a unit. But what Na'Vi can become, the rough diamond that is this team, is one of the most exciting prospects in Counter-Strike at the moment.
To me, the most interesting dynamic of what we saw in the veto was just that the guys from Vitality didn't pick Nuke. Like, I thought if they were confident, they'd do that. That makes me think they saw something in Na'Vi's game against Astralis yesterday. They thought, we'll just leave that to the decider. Like, let's get it out of the way on Inferno where we think they're actually more weak, because we straight up owned them last time.
And this is it, gentlemen. It is time now to get the match underway. And so we will be kicking it off. First map coming up. And our commentators to take us away will be Anders and Moses.
Well, yes, we're ready for this one. I like what Chav's saying there. You know, just if this all works out for Na'Vi, they could be such a powerful team. Definitely all there, but I don't know, this is going to be a strange fight. Vitality been looking really interesting. RPK suddenly doing a lot. What do you think about this game?
Well, I think this is going to be wild. I think you're right. Chad nailed it on the head, but at the same time, Na'Vi just perennial disappointments, right? They've just disappointed us consistently with where this team can reach, and I think we are making this prediction based off of where we think they can be, that they have a higher peak than Vitality, but also what we saw yesterday, not just from Simple, but also Electronic. That guy was an X factor. He was huge, and for Vitality side, you're still looking for, a phenomenal performance out of ZywOo to keep them in these games during rough stretches, and RPK to continue his tear as well. So there's like a 1-2 punch in each of these teams that's really interesting, and this feels more than any other match that we've had in this group stage so far. This feels like a grudge match.
I can't wait for it. I mean, anytime you could get Simple and ZywOo in the same server playing each other, that in itself is probably going to be a pretty good time. So I hope you're ready for it, ladies and gentlemen. It's Vitality and Na'Vi right here in London at BLASTPremier. And we're going to get into the game right away with Vitality starting on the T side and Na'Vi on the CT side. And some grenades being picked up from Vitality. They could do a bit with it.
Yeah.
And no P250.
Well, same with the Na'Vi side. Electronic with full sets of utility. Interesting that we don't see a kit on the CT side. Aggression in towards apartments. They want that first kill. They're not going to get it, even with Simple sticking around for an extra second. That's a decent amount of pressure applied, and there's a Goosh. Simple, still fighting. He's brought Apex down to 2 HP.
Back for more, and down to 5 himself.
You deserve that one.
You do deserve it. All right, so that's the initial grenades being used. Just kind of guesswork at that point in time.
Yeah, the salvo to try and just gain some map control. It's given them access to Banana, but equally, Na'Vi sense what's coming. Electronic has rotated over. This is a tough defense, especially because Electronic has the nades. He can re-smoke this as well. This can get stalled out very quickly. Keep your eye on the minimap. Shocks lurking over towards those A-holes as well. He can be a plan B or he can backstab.
Well, there's the counter smoke coming up, but they're already committed to it. They're running through. Alex will pick up the one that's trying to track them through the smoke, and that almost works out. Immediate attempt at, oh my God, that can't really be happening. And Electronic, how is he doing this again? 3 kills, and 2 of them, if you blinked, you missed it. Apex and Shocks now, 2 versus 4, and that bomb is, I mean, how can they stop that from being defused? They're all on there.
There's Shocks' flank, and he's completely negated. The bomb isn't planted for him whatsoever.
No, it's all the way in the corner. There's Perfecto, and a follow-up. My lord.
That's heartbreaking, but you have to expect now. We saw this yesterday. We've seen it all weekend. Electronic, at this point in time in his game, is going to come through those smokes. He's loving it at the moment. He's had so many kills in this weekend, just coming around the edge, finding angles that no one's expecting. And if you're Vitality,
that is completely obscene. I just don't even understand how that's possible. You're supposed to be warming up into a